Kevin Smith is on our phone line. Hi, Kev.
Good morning, folks.
Good morning, Kevin.
How you doing? Happy post-Oscar day. I mean, I know everyone's all happy and excited that both Anne Hathaway and Ben Affleck finally have their Oscars.
Yes. That's pretty amazing. Yeah, I mean...
That's not convincing.
No, we're tired, man. We stayed up way too late. They got to make that program shorter.
Yeah, well, the first thing they could have done was chop out the whole Captain Kirk thing in the beginning.
Oof. You didn't like it, huh?
It was fine, but it just went on.
A little too long.
Yeah, but hands down, the best joke of the night to me, and one that still makes me chuckle, is the Sound of Music joke. I thought that was hysterical.
What was the joke?
Oh, I thought that was great, too.
That one.
There was a joke where, he was introducing Christopher Plummer.
Yep.
And he's like, Christopher Plummer played Captain Von Trapp in the Sound of Music. And he's like, and now the Von Trapp family singers. And they cut to some doors that didn't open. And then they cut back to MacFarlane on stage. He's like, the Von Trapp family singers. And they cut back to the door, and nobody's there. And then finally, like, a dude in a Nazi costume runs in. He's like, they are gone! That was fantastic. And then they never touch again. And then he goes, and that was that joke.
Yeah.
That was fantastic. So that made me laugh so hard. Probably the hardest I've ever laughed in an Oscar ceremony.
Ooh.
And then the second most enjoyable aspect of the evening was Daniel Day-Lewis, who was so serious all the time.
Yes.
He gets up, and he's like a pretty funny, charming
And
guy.
he's being funny and shit. Yeah, I thought that was cool.
Kevin, what did you think? I liked Argo, and I know you and Ben are very close.
I saw your stream, sir. You were very like, what?
But it wasn't like fuck Argo. I did think it was a great movie.
I liked you. I think you summed it up best when you said, like, if they were giving away an award for the third best movie of the year, then Argo should have won. That's what your tweet. I loved it. Of course, a friend of mine made it. But I'll be honest with you, my favorite movie of the year was Life of Pi.
I didn't see that.
I thought it was beautiful. It's crazy beautiful. It's one of those movies that even if you're... Are we allowed to curse? I forget where are we?
Yeah, let's do this.
Even if you're one of them pessimistic assholes, by the end of the movie, it finds, like, the child in you. Like, the guy sums up the movie best when he's just like... He tells a story, and then there's another story that you hear by the end of the movie that's probably the more real version of the story. But the guy goes, now, you've heard both stories. Which do you prefer? And then the guy says, well, the one that was this. I don't want to spoil it, but the one with all the animals and stuff. And then the guy says, like, and so it is with God. It's a really powerful flick. The CG work was phenomenal. You're talking about, like, pretty much one actor alone with a bunch of CG, and Rhythm and Hughes, the effects house that created all the tiger, all the animal stuff and whatnot, all the whale jumping over the boat, all the amazing things you see in the movie, just filed for bankruptcy recently.
Wow.
Why?
Really?
That guy, the guy who won the award last night for I think it was for effects or visual effects, I forget what he won exactly for, but he was trying to give a shout out to Rhythm and Hughes. He might have been the DP who won for Life of Pi. I can't remember, but he was trying to give a shout out to Rhythm and Hughes and talk about, hey man, the VFX houses are hurting right now, and they just kind of played them off. I thought that the playoff music was funny. They used Jaws.
Yeah.
But like, if you're not doing a long opening dance sequence or a long singing sequence, that guy could have said his two bits. I mean, these cats working their whole lives to get to the moment. Well, maybe not. Presumably they're not working their whole lives to get to this moment, but this is a big moment for you. You win an Oscar. You want to be able to stand up there and say whatever you want, even though half the time they're like, I'm so excited, I forget who to thank. But here's a guy who's prepossessed, and he's like, look, I would like to talk about something that affects all of us in this industry. People like, turn up the music.
Yeah, get them off.
Did you think... Hey, did you like Zero Dark 30, Kevin?
I'll be honest with you, and this is one of those things you're not supposed to say as a filmmaker. People are like, oh, he's no filmmaker. Well, they've been saying that for years, so I guess I can go forward and say there are some flicks that I have not seen. I abstained from voting this year because, number one, it was tough. I had two people that I dearly love up for awards, man. I love Affleck and I love Quentin Tarantino, and so I didn't want and me in the middle, I loved Life of Pi, so I just abstained from voting altogether at that point. Also, part of the reason was there's a bunch of movies that I didn't see and see till the end. So, like, that's one thing they ask you to do, to, like, look, if you haven't seen all the flicks, like, just don't go in there and be like, oh, I like this one is better than this one unless you've seen them all. So some stuff I didn't see. I'll go over to Best Pictures and tell you what I didn't see if I could find it.
So you were being honorable, because I would assume a lot of the people in the room would just vote for their friends and pals.
Yeah, but I mean, they tell you up and down like how important this is. Like in all the literature they send out, and let's be honest, it's not the end of the world. It's not like insanely important, but they say like if you haven't seen all the flicks, you can't really vote, because like let's say you got 10 Best Picture categories here, 10 Best Picture nominations in the Best Picture category. I didn't see them more. I still haven't watched all of Lincoln. I was watching the first 20, 30 minutes of that, and he was great, but then I fell asleep, and not because the movie was boring, but just because it was late at night. I was like, why the fuck am I trying to watch Lincoln at 12?
But to be fair, a lot of people have said that movie is really slow.
Yeah, a little long.
I mean, and it's not Steven Spielberg, an insanely gifted filmmaker, but how many times are we going to hear about Abe Lincoln, for heaven's sake? You know what I'm saying? It's one more variation on the Abe Lincoln story, and you're like, all right, well, I'm pretty sure. And by the time, like, where I fell asleep in the movie, I was like, yep, this is everything I knew about Lincoln up till now. So,
let me ask you, are you surprised that Tarantino wasn't nominated for Best Director?
No, because I think with that flick it would have been tough. He was already catching some heat for using the N-word and stuff like that. I think most cats think of him as a writer first and foremost. I think he thinks of himself as a writer first and foremost. I don't think he seemed particularly bugged that he wasn't nominated. I think in a world where, you know, Affleck didn't get nominated for directing Argo, I'm sure he felt like, well, they missed a few of us this year.
Did you see, I'm sorry to interrupt you, you saw Silver Linings Playbook?
I was just going down the list. I've seen, of the rest of the movies, Les Miserables I've seen, Silver Linings Playbook I have not seen yet, which I feel crappy about because my friend produced the movie, John Gordon, the guy who made Red State with me, left us and went to make that flick. So my wife loved it. Everyone I know loves it, but I've yet to watch it. So I saw Les Miserables. I still haven't seen Silver Linings Playbook. Saw Django. Did not see Beasts of the Southern Wild. And to go way back to your question, Jimmy, I started watching Zero Dark 30, and it was kind of the same situation as Lincoln. I made it about 15 minutes in, and then I fell asleep not because it's boring. I think Catherine Bigelow's a great director, but you know, I'd read every article about the hunt for Bin Laden. I didn't read the book, but I've read every article. I read every article on the day of the actual strike and whatnot. So by the time you're watching the movie, you're like, yep, I remember I read that. Yep, this happened. Yep, this happened. So I fell asleep, and then I woke up just for the raid. And when the raid happened, I was like, wow, this is exactly like every article I read. So at that point, you know, it was a wonderful movie, but that was such a recent news event that I was just like, I don't know. Can you really dramatize something that's happened like 10 minutes ago?
I'll say one thing.
I liked it, but I just didn't finish it.
The one part the articles didn't tell you that was in the movie, which was when they fucking broke into Bin Laden's fucking compound. He was actually watching on a loop My Line and Zack and Miri and laughing hysterically. A lot of people.
Was he?
How great would that be if he was just looking at me and having a laugh? I'd have to like him now.
So, have you talked to Ben at all?
No. I was going to text last night.
No.
Like, that dude's phone is blown up and whatnot, so there's no point in me going like, hey, congratulations as well.
Could you go to the Oscars if you wanted?
Yeah, you're allowed to. I'm a member of the Academy, so before when the nomination ballot goes out and whatnot, when they announce the nomination, I believe it's at that point you get you could sign up for a ticket. You got to pay though, and it's a crazy amount of money.
How much is it?
I think it was like last time I looked at the price tag, I remember it being like $500, and I was like, $500, man. Like I would never want to go to something like this unless I was nominated. It's not like going to a hockey game where you're like, I'm not playing the game, but I enjoy watching hockey. Like I'm not playing this game, and I don't enjoy watching the award aspect of it. It's fine, but like it's not really what it's all about and whatnot. Like, for example, last night, I think it took an hour or more into that ceremony before anybody who got up to the podium to, you know, accept their award brought up art. And it was the dude who made the short documentary subject about she was a street musician or singer, and now, you know, she was homeless. She's an artist. You're all artists. We do this for art. I was the one time I got emotional. I was like, wow, here's somebody advocating for why we're all here in the first place, not to find out what someone's wearing, not to find out if this one's going to beat this one, but like to express oneself. Before we shuffle loose this mortal coil, to say something, try to make your mark on the world with something unreal, tell the lie that tells the truth, kind of thing. So in that moment where somebody's up there going, "Hey man, art," the artist in me is like, "Yeah, that's why we're all here." But it quickly gets scuttled, and then everyone just gets up and goes, "Oh my God, this means the world to me, me."
Well, so there's another one I wanted to ask you about too. God damn it! You just we were talking about a movie. There was a movie I wanted to ask you about, or a performance, and I fucking sorry.
Jimmy.
Nah, I know, but as he was talking, I'm like, I got to ask him what he thought of this. But
man,
no, it's not good.
I could jump in with other stuff until you remember.
I will say Les Mis. I tried to get through. I got through 15 minutes of it. I hate music. I like the first song, and the rest of it I just could not get into.
It's a really sad movie. It makes you pretty emotional if you make it to the end.
Really? I'll try. I'll give it another shot.
If you're into sad stuff, like I like getting emotional, and when I watch a flick now, I can make myself laugh, and I got friends who make me laugh, so I tend not to watch comedy too much. But what I don't do is emotion very well, and I love to watch that kind of stuff. So something like Les Mis, man, by the time you get to the end of the movie, people are dying left and right. Ghosts are talking to living people about how well they've done with their life. It's a real end of life movie, and you're like, oh my God, we're all gonna die. I hope with a bad haircut visits me on my deathbed. It's very emotional. But her performance in the first 4 minutes, not first 4 minutes, but in that song, they have this song that she sings, "I dreamed a dream." And everybody, of course, remembers the song from when the lady sang it in the British TV show. Susan Boyle,
sure.
She came out, and they're like, "Oh, she looks like a troll." And then this beautiful voice came out of her, and they're like, "Who knew that fat people could sing?" This was some sort of revelation. But anyway, that song was very popular by her. Of course, it was from Les Mis. But when Anne Hathaway sings it for the movie, I remember before I saw the flick, I was like, there is no way, unless she's singing it while juggling cats and doing it completely naked and riding a unicycle, how are you ever going to forget the Susan Boyle version, man? Especially all the elements that surrounded that, with her coming out on stage and people not thinking she was going to be able to pull it off or do anything worthwhile. So knowing that, man, when Anne Hathaway steps up to the mic in the movie, I felt like she had a huge hill to get over, and boy, did she do it easily. They hold on her for 4 minutes, and she sings this song. They don't cut around. It's not made up of multiple takes. It's just her by herself with a camera hanging in her face, singing from top to bottom of that song. And it's so emotional, dude. Like Anne Hathaway, I've read a little bit about her. She's certainly not, she hasn't had a life of misery and woe. But when you see her singing that song, you honestly believe, oh my Lord, she's been through fucking hell, man.
Really?
Won't somebody give this girl a break? And that's acting. If you could pull that crap off, make me forget who you are in the real world, so much so that my heart's breaking for you as I watch this dopey little make-pretend movie, then you deserve an award. That all being said, she's wonderful in the movie. I thought her acceptance speech was the most disappointing of the evening.
Why?
Really?
I didn't see hers.
It fell flat.
I was getting jerked off for money.
Oh, yeah? Jimmy goes, yeah.
For somebody who, it was a big deal for her. It's a big deal for everybody to win an Oscar, I guess. But, she's well into acting, and she's been doing fantastic performances for, the last 5-7 years or whatever the heck. Now she's, cruised up to her moment where she gets an Oscar. And her acceptance speech was very perfunctory. It was listing everybody. It was a list of names of people who she was thanking.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. It's no one cares.
Circle, you want to do a little payback.
Yeah, but say
so
something.
Many names,
yeah.
So many names and nothing really about, oh my God, when I was a little kid, man, my whole life has been about this. I'll be honest with you. All I've ever wanted was just give me a little something up there. And instead it was hopefully one day nobody will have to die in the French Revolution ever again.
Yeah, she did say that.
It was kind of a weird thing. But I would have liked a better acceptance speech from her. This show is not about giving out awards for acceptance speeches, so it doesn't matter.
You just turned me on to Les Mis. I think I got to see this freaking
but Kevin
movie
made
now.
me want to watch it from beginning to end.
I had no desire to see this.
I was watching her get raped in a wheelbarrow. I was like, oh, fucking who? But I got to watch it.
Hey, Kev, what do you think of Seth MacFarlane's job there? As host.
Honestly, going in, I don't watch Family Guy, and he's taken a shot or two at me on the show, so I'm not, a wild, enthusiastic Seth MacFarlane supporter. I'm not against him. He's not really in my world whatsoever. So going into it, I had my arms crossed, like, well, this better be impressive. I thought he actually did okay, man. He made me laugh a few times. I think he's easy to look at. Damn, he's fucking, like, he could sing and dance, and he's attractive. He should be, I tweeted last night, that dude should be playing the lead in Book of Mormon, man, Elder Price. He looks squeaky clean. He looks the part. He can sing. He can dance. He knows he has good timing and stuff. I was pleased. I mean, I wouldn't say like, oh man, I want to see him do it every year, but I thought he acquitted himself admirably. I thought the moments that like I liked, it felt like he brought. I've never seen them do like that Sound of Music type joke in the middle of the show. So that felt like something he and his writers might have brought. But when all things said and done, I thought he did totally fine. I mean, it was very Seth heavy in the first 45 minutes with the song and whatnot, and the song was pretty much how bad he sucked at the Oscars or whatever, or the bit with Captain Kirk rather. The song was more about boobs. But everything else, I thought, like when he came to the mic, he did it. I thought he did it well. I don't know how else to say it. Like he had a perfect amount of snark. And I wouldn't say reverence, but like, we're all here because these people are having a good time. I thought he did a good job. I'm not like, oh man, he better be the guy every time, or he's the brand new Billy Crystal. But I like Jon Stewart a lot from a few years ago, but I thought Seth did a really good job.
Did you like Michelle Obama presenting the? I actually like that. I mean, I know Aunt isn't crazy for her, but I like. I like her a lot. I mean, I think they're a good first family. I mean, politics aside or whatever, but I enjoyed her. I thought she was...
I agree, and she's coming off of like a real big week of being on that video with Jimmy Fallon for mom dancing.
Yes.
So she's like riding a real heavy wave right now, real high wave of popularity, and then all of a sudden she pops up on this. I thought it was almost like, okay, poor Ben Affleck a couple years ago started getting kicked in the balls because he dated somebody and it got too public and everybody got pissed off. And so for a while, his career was hurting, man, and he made reference to it when he won the award and stuff. So for him to have not only a fairy tale ending where, the guy who everyone's like, he was in that fucking stupid Jersey Girl movie. Fuck him in the ass. For that dude to like get up there and win an Academy Award and stuff, that's a fairy tale ending. The fact that it was given to him by the White House, come on, man. That's like that doesn't get more fairy tale than that. That's pretty damn special. So I'm sure he's feeling like after a few years of people being like, oh, fuck him. Now, boy, you don't get more back than that. So, and also a lot of people are like, oh, he didn't get nominated for the Best Director award. I honestly think that probably helped his case a great deal. It made a lot of people go like, hey, he should have been nominated. I'm certainly not saying that's why Argo won, but it certainly created a bunch of sympathy.
How rare is that, Kev? Like didn't it used to be the director and picture, you just got both. That was the way it was. I mean, it didn't happen with Scorsese, obviously, but...
Generally, they line up pretty well, but when the Academy jumped their awards to Best Picture awards from 10 nominations from 5 to 10, but didn't jump all the rest of the awards, suddenly you've got a huge discrepancy. There's going to be 10 Best Picture nominations, but only 5 Best Directors. Now, this is certainly not the first time it's ever happened. Even in the year when it used to be 5 Best Pictures and 5 Best Directors, there have been plenty of times where directors didn't get nominated. Bruce Beresford didn't get nominated for Driving Miss Daisy. And that movie wound up winning Best Picture. So it's kind of a similar situation. But actors, it's strange because actors who become directors generally get love shot all over them, man. Like Robert Redford made the jump and for Ordinary People, and he got awards. Kevin Costner, he got awards. Mel Gibson, he got awards. So it looked like for Ben, man, it was kind of going to be an easy layup. But when he didn't get the director nod, suddenly people were like, oh no. But I honestly think that might have helped. The Golden Globes were not too long after, and the Globes organization, they're not like the Academy has an accountancy firm of Price Waterhouse that counts all the ballots and the votes like that, and everybody who's a member sends in their vote. And if you're a member of a branch, like I'm a member of the director's branch, you vote for Best Picture and Best Director. That's who you get to nominate. And then when they release all the nominations, you get to vote for everything. So the Golden Globes, that's an organization that's a closed organization run by the Hollywood Foreign Press. And so the Hollywood Foreign Press is like an organization looks like, I've been in front of them a few times, looks like about 100 people, maybe less, generally on the older side and whatnot, and they write for publications that are overseas that you've never seen or heard about. So this organization doesn't have like, hey, all our members vote in. Their voting body is made up of those journalists, those people who write for the Hollywood Foreign Press. So when they vote for their awards, the Golden Globes, it's not like, hey, man, we send our numbers to the accountant, and the accountant sends them all back and tells us exactly who wins. They just pick. So Ben kind of got dissed for his Best Director nod a couple weeks before the Golden Globes happened, and then he won Best Director at the Golden Globes. Wow. So they can change horses in midstream. But again,
wait, Kevin, hold on, jump in. Do you have, when you're meeting this Hollywood Foreign Press, isn't it a big, like, ass-kiss fest? Like, you have to hang out with them a certain thing, you go to lunch with them. Isn't it like a whole fucking interaction that these guys have to do for nominations?
There is an interaction. You certainly don't have to do it. When I worked with Miramax and the Weinstein Company for years, they, of course, they excel at awards and whatnot. So I had to do it a few times during that. What you do is it's a press conference. You show the movie, and you sit down in some hotel ballroom with about 50 of the Hollywood Foreign Press or something like that. And they're very familiar faces. If you've done it once or twice, you'll see the same people over and over and whatnot. So you sit down, and they ask you questions. It's a Q&A type situation or press conference kind of situation. You chit-chat with them, and then you go. There have been some people in the past, like Sharon Stone back in the day, would send them all monogram pens and stuff like that, very expensive payola-type things, and then they got rid of that. They were like, you can't give gifts during awards season.
Right.
But you don't have to. It's not like jump through these hoops with these people. But if you want to win a Golden Globe, that's definitely part of it.
I mean more of an unspoken rule, like not one that would be written down, but one where we all kind of know, you know what I mean? Like one of those
wink,
things.
nudge.
Sure, and that's the only organization that you can really do it with. Like the Academy, there's nobody you can buddy up with because it's all votes from the membership. So you'd have to buddy up with everybody in the membership to sway your vote. With the Golden Globe people, there's a certain amount of them, and I guess if you ingratiate yourself with them, they probably remember you more fondly than the people that don't.
Sure. Hey, Kev, could you settle something for me, please?
Fire away, brother.
Who was the best singer of the night?
Okay.
We've been discussing this morning, and I'm not talking about the musical montage.
Okay, so wait. So tell me who my options are. Is that
you got the Jennifer Hudson, you got the Adele, you got the Barbara, the Babs, and you got that Shirley. The
older lady,
Bassey. Thank you. Yes, and you got Bassey. Who was the best of the night?
Let me see. Thinking about it. I honestly, I thought Jennifer Hudson, when she sang her number, she literally brought the house down and brought everyone. Well, not literally, figuratively brought the house down. And she literally brought everyone to their feet, like it was a standing O. And it felt like it was the end. And then you're sitting there going, "Is a 2-song montage?" But it was so big that you were like, "Who's going to follow this?" And then the only way to top that was to bring up the entire cast of Les Miserables to do that song from the middle of the movie. So at that point, oh my Lord, you're watching Jennifer Hudson sing by herself versus 30 people singing about the French Revolution. So I'd say it was between those two, but I'll give it to Jennifer Hudson because a woman alone on a stage singing the song that made her famous, that she's won awards for and whatnot, in front of that crowd, she didn't really. I thought she did a great job. But also a close second. Yeah. And again, I'm not. It doesn't come because I'm a huge fan of this guy. But I was blown away at what a good singer Seth MacFarlane was.
Wow. I just got faced. I said the Goldfinger broad. What?
Shirley Bassey?
Yeah, man. She's 78 years old. She belted it out.
That was cool. Yeah, I mean,
I told you. You have no idea. I mean, we've been kind of battling this back and forth all morning, and Sam said Hudson. I said the Goldfinger broad.
Absolutely great for her because, as you pointed out,
I lost so bad.
Older. But at the same time, I've heard that song a zillion times, and it's a wonderful song, but it's not that difficult to sing.
She did good for an old
song
lady.
Is really difficult, and you got to get way Christina Aguilera with it at the end, where you that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Got to sting a little bit.
I hear you. Well, very good, Kevin. Anything else about the Oscars?
I don't know.
I mean, we covered it.
It looks like it felt honestly like this year everybody they spread shared the wealth, if you will, or spread it around evenly.
Nothing
Everybody
really.
who was up for something walked away with a little something. You know, even Lincoln wound up walking away with Daniel Day-Lewis takes the top acting award, and Steven Spielberg doesn't get director, but that goes to Ang Lee. So Life of Pi gets a little love, gets a little love for score, gets a little love for cinematography. Argo gets a lot of love, wins the top award, man. Wins screenplay as well, or adapted screenplay. Right?
Yeah, Hollywood's got to like that when they spread it out like that.
Do you think that has anything to do, like, to the 10 nominations instead of 5? Obviously, it gets people to see more movies. So because nobody gives a fuck who's nominated for Best Director. Nominated for Best Picture, people go, hey, let's go see it. It's nominated for an Oscar. I wonder if spreading it out like that is an unspoken, I'm not saying nothing can sweep, like, you know, but hey, man, if you spread it out, everything can now say, with Oscar winning, Oscar for best, and you want to see movies that have Oscar attached to them. So maybe it just gets everybody a little bit more money. I mean, and again, in the sea of Hollywood stuff, you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely. I mean, sure, more awards spread around is probably better for the business in general, because it means, like, if it's one flick that's getting all the awards, once you see it, you're done. But if it's like, hey, there's 10 movies that are getting really talked about, each one won awards, then you're more inclined to check them all out.
There you go.
But honestly, when it comes to that, and I'm certainly not an apple polisher for the Academy, though I do.
Yes, you are, apple polisher.
I am a total apple polisher.
You're the gatekeeper.
But I can't. I mean, of course, anything could be cheated in this world. But the way they do it, their balloting and their voting, man, is pretty. It's pretty on the money. It's pretty like airtight. I mean, they introduced some online voting system this year, which challenged a few people, some of the older voters, I guess.
Right.
But generally speaking, like, they use Pricewaterhouse, and there's not like, hey, man, I'm the vice president of Hollywood, and I want this movie to win. You know, unless you count Harvey Weinstein, you can't really fuck with the system. The system it's. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but it can't be like, hey, well, let's spread a little over here, spread a little over here. Nobody's in charge except the voting body itself. So there's no, like, you know, unless, you know, I'm being naive and there's somebody, Illuminati, Hollywood Illuminati, sitting in a room, you know, like the Stonecutters on The Simpsons, deciding who wins the fucking Oscar. But I don't think everything I've seen over the course of the last nearly 20 years dictates to me that it's a pretty straight up process, man. You can't fuck it or something like that.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, absolutely.
I knew
You
you'd have
really
something great on us, and
yeah, you broke it down for us. I appreciate it.
I try to be a little helpful and stuff, man. But it's cool. It's done, and we get to go back to just watching movies instead of politicizing or betting them. I hate this time of year because it turns the movies into a hockey game where you're just like, yeah, man, beat them up. I want to see competition. I thought that was really amazing. During Quentin's speech, he actually, like, he said, I love the competition. Like, he likes to get in there and be up against people and stuff like that. I'm the opposite. I hate any aspect of competition. It's like, oh, no, man, it's art. Don't make us, like, compare our art. That's like comparing dick sizes. You can't do it. You're born with what you're born with and stuff.
I know, but it is fun to humiliate the other guy. Let me rephrase.
I think that's why Quentin liked it. He was just like, I love the competition because I fucking won.
Did he mean I love the competition, like, I love to compete, or I love the competition, like I love the people I'm competing against?
I think both. That dude fucking loves the process, man.
Yeah.
Like, I remember I was sitting on here, I'm going to name drop like a motherfucker. I was sitting on a balcony with him right before he went to go do Inglourious Bastards, and he was coming off of a movie that I loved, man. What was it called? Grindhouse. You know, he did the car one in Grindhouse. So I guess the Grindhouse didn't do that well. It topped out at like $30 million or something, and was considered kind of disappointing. And that dude, like, it bothered him in a big bad way, man.
Oh yeah.
He was like, I'm going over to Germany early, man, because I'm going to get started, work on my craft. He's going, because I'm going to come back and show him how big my dick is. And I was like, really? But everyone knows how big your dick is. He's like, well, not now, not after Grindhouse, but when I come back, they're going to fucking know. And then he came back, and it was Inglourious Bastards.
What confidence to know that? What confidence he has in his ability to write and tell a story?
Love the guy.
It's his whole world, dude. It's his whole fucking world. If you walk into his house, his whole world is movies and storytelling. So it kind of makes sense. When he steps up to the plate, he has a full game in his head. He's like Gretzky, dude. He sees the whole ice, and he sees the whole game, and he sees every play before it kind of happens. So I was up there at his place. I showed him Red State. It was going back a year and a half, 2 years ago. And he was coming out of writing. So he was like, I just spent the last 2 weeks or 2 months writing. I haven't watched anything, so now I'm trying to watch as much as I can. And he has a movie theater, so he runs prints and stuff like that. So they had called up and said, hey, man, send me the print of Red State so I could see it. And so I went up there to watch it with him, and then afterwards, he was just hanging around the house. He'd go, this is this room, and he goes, come here, I want to show you something. And he pulls me into his writing room. He's got this beautiful view of Los Angeles out his window where he just sits there and sees the city at night and stuff. Very great view because he lives up in the hills. He lives like in the hills above me, up off Mulholland. So he goes, come here, look. And he brings me over, and he goes, here it is. And it's the script, and there it is, Django Unchained. He's like, I just finished it. I'm so excited. He's like, that's the only reason I'm watching movies right now is because I'm done making mine. So he's like a kid, man. He's so fucking enthusiastic, and he plays the game for real. Like, this is what you love about artists and entertainers, athletes, people that do something ridiculous like throw a ball around or make pretend for a living or put images together that make you think something's really happening. The people that do it full out with all of their passion, do it like they're trying to save the fucking world. Like, if I don't get this right, everyone dies. People who create their art like they're fucking Batman and they got 5 seconds to get a bomb out of there or something like that. That, to me, those are the people who always have my heart, man. Those are the people who hook me. And Quentin is definitely one of those people. Like, this is not just like, yeah, I work in the movie business. It's his fucking religion, man, and he plays it like that. And not to say he's all austere and serious. He's obviously a fun-loving dude. Yeah. But, like, he treats his craft more reverently than I ever could. To him, it's fucking, it's religion. It's manna from heaven. It's how he breathes and stuff. It's how his heart pumps. So when a dude like that gets up to accept an award, you know that, like, not only has he earned it, and I'm not saying he earned it and no one else who was up for the award would have earned it. No, but this guy, it is everything that he is. It's every part of his fucking being. So when he closes that loop, when he stands up there and accepts an award for writing something that meant the world to him, that he took all his time with, he doesn't write on a computer, he writes fucking longhand.
Yeah.
Oh, did he? I think he told us so. What a fucking maniac.
Fucking crazy.
He's an artist. It's not even like a maniac. He's like one of these cats we'll be talking about years from now, like Samuel Clemens or Mark Twain, if you will, or any of the greats, man, who are just a little bit eccentric. His whole life, his art has been first.
He feels connected to the page by writing. Some guy, I think Woody Allen writes like that too, or he's a typewriter. There's all these weird things that make people feel connected to the page. Like, you know, with me, I just kind of watch Comedy Central and then rephrase what I've heard. That's what makes me feel connected. We got to wrap up.
Yeah,
right on. Closing the show in 15 minutes.
Good talking to you. Hey, look, this Friday we're going to drop a trailer for Jay and Silent Bob's super groovy cartoon movie. It's a movie like Red State I took out and toured. Me and Jay made this movie. Jay actually did. It's a cartoon movie of Jay and Bob, and we're going to take that out, touring it. And on Friday, the trailer and then the dates get announced.
Very
All right,
cool.
thank you, brother. Definitely.
All right, guys, have fun.
See you soon,
Kev.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Our pal Kevin Smith.
He always has a really...
He's got a great take on shit.
And that Tarantino stuff was really interesting. Like,
absolutely.
It's nice to know, like, the directors will sit and, you know, fucking talk, and the one director gets excited. Like, I would never show Tarantino my movie. I'd be too, like, ashamed that he wouldn't like it.
Should be.
But he just...
Yeah, right, that's fair enough.
He just brought us into Quentin Tarantino's house right there. You can just visualize that whole thing, how he said that. Very good. That Kevin Smith on Twitter. We're going to take a break, and we'll wrap up today's show.